Lesson 1.2. Our objective is to use the order of operations to simplify numerical expressions. Key terms. Order of operations. The rule that tells what order to use when evaluating expressions with more than one operation. Numerical expression. A combination of numbers and operations. Evaluating a numerical expression. To perform the operations and obtain a single value. Order of operations. To simplify an expression that involves more than one operation, use the following order. PEMDAS. First, evaluate parentheses or any grouping symbols. Second, evaluate exponents. Third, do any multiplication and division from left to right. And finally, do addition and subtraction from left to right. Hello and welcome to the Math Academy. Today's lesson we are covering basic review of basic operations for mathematics, for algebra. We're looking at the order of operations and we're simplifying numerical expressions. The beginning of the video gave you a few key terms and it also went over the order of operations. This is actually just a review before we get deep into algebra, so this is something that you've been exposed to before, but I do believe it's important to go over it again before we get too far along into our other lessons. Now, when you first learned about the order of operations, your teacher probably taught you a little trick to remember the actual order. It was called PEMDAS. And I'm going to write it here. And a lot of kids would say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That will let you know how to evaluate expression. The P stood for the parentheses, any grouping symbols. You want to do that first. E stood for evaluating exponents. The M and the D was for multiplication and division from left to right. And the A and the S was for addition and subtraction. You would evaluate addition and subtraction from left to right. That's the actual order that you would go in. Now the multiplication and division, we have to understand that they have equal weight. A lot of students feel like since multiplication comes first in the order, you have to do it first. No, something had to be written first, but they hold equal weight. So whichever one comes first, multiplication or division, that's what you do first. Same as addition and subtraction. They also hold equal weight. So if subtraction is ahead of addition, do the subtraction first. Okay? They have equal weight. So now let's go ahead and get started with the first one. So when I look at it, I have 3 plus 10 minus, and in parentheses, I have 9 minus 2. Well, first thing that I see, I have parentheses. So I know based on the order of operations, I must do that first. I'm going to rewrite what I have. I have 3 plus 10 minus, now in parentheses, I had 9 minus 2, which is 7. Now I'm just left with addition and subtraction, so I'll do that from left to right. 3 plus 10 is 13, bring down minus 7, and 13 minus 7 is 6. So my final answer for this one is 6. Okay. My next one, I look at it, take a quick glance at it, and I see I only have multiplication, I mean not multiplication, addition and subtraction. So I know I'll just work this from left to right. I'll start here, 1 plus 6 is 7. I'll bring down everything else. And then I have 7 minus 5, which is 2. Bring down plus 3. Notice that I'm doing one operation at a time, but I'm bringing down everything else. 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3 is 5. So that means that my final answer here is 5. I'm going to move this, pull up a few more problems. We're going to try a few more together. We have 4 more that we're trying together. Now, I tried to give you enough examples so you'd have enough. I don't like it when people just give one example. Okay, you know how to do that one, but what about something different? So that's why I gave you several examples here. We're going to try these next 4 together. Then I'm going to have you pause the video and work some on your own. Okay, so now look here. I see here in the middle, I have some multiplication. So I'll bring down my 7, bring down that plus. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 4. Now I'm left with addition and subtraction, so I'll say 7 plus 9, 16, bring down my minus 4. And then 16 minus 4 is 12, which is my final answer. This next one, I see here I have grouping symbols. I'll bring down the 3 and the plus. Now in the grouping symbols, I have 2 plus 8, which is 10. Then I'll bring down my times 2. Next order will be the multiplication. So that'll be 3 plus 20. 10 times 2 is 20. And then finally, I'm left with just addition. 3 plus 20 is just 23. That's my final answer. Let's try these last two. Once again, I have some parentheses, so I have to start off with those grouping symbols. So I'll put 8 minus, now inside of the grouping symbols I have 4 minus 3, which is 1. And then don't forget, we have to evaluate that exponent. That's to the second power, 1 to the second power. So I have to evaluate my exponents. 1 to the second power is just 1. So now I'm just left with subtraction. 8 minus 1 is 7. And that's my final answer. And then this last one that we're going to do together, once again, we have grouping symbols. So that's going to be 10. I'm going to keep the parentheses because this is 10 times. I know I'm going to have to multiply again at some point. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then don't forget the exponent to the second power. So now I have to evaluate my exponent. That's 3 to the second power is 9. So this becomes 10 times 9. 10 times 9 is 90. And that's my final answer. Now, what I want you to do is, it's easy to do them when somebody's working with you. What I want you to do is, I want you to pause the video, work these next 6 on your own, then restart the video. Now, if you have the notes in front of you, if you have my notes in front of you, then you know what the problems are. But if you're just viewing the video, you don't have the problems. So that's why I have them kind of close together so you can write down the problems, pause the video, and work out those problems. Okay, if you've restarted your video, that means that you're ready to check your answers. We were using the order of operations to evaluate numerical expressions, and we were using the little PEMDAS. And I think most people were taught the little phrase, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The P was to let you know to do anything that occurred in parentheses first, anything in grouping symbols, evaluate that first. E was for evaluating exponents. M and the D, that was for multiplication and division from left to right. And then finally you were to do addition and subtraction from left to right. So when I look at my first one, I don't have any parentheses. However, I do have an exponent. I have this 2 to the second power, so I know I have to evaluate that first. And incidentally, as we're going along with these, as you're checking yours, if you found that you made a mistake, please correct your mistake as we're going along. So the first thing I want to do is I have to evaluate my exponent. So I'll just go ahead and rewrite everything that I have. And then here I have 2 to the second power. When I get here, then I'll go ahead and evaluate. 2 to the second power is 4. So now I have a multiplication and division that I can do from left to right. The multiplication comes first. So 30 times 2 gives me 60 divided by 4 minus 5. 60 divided by 4 is 15. Bring down minus 5. 15 minus 5 is 10. So that means that my final answer is 10. For my next one, I don't have any parentheses again. However, I do have this exponent again. So I have to evaluate that first. So I'll bring down the 4. 4 times 5 to the second power is 25 plus 4. Now I'll do my multiplication from left to right. 4 times 25 is 100 plus 4. 100 plus 4 is 104. And that's my final answer. Gonna move this up a smidge. Pull my problems up just a smidge so you can see the rest of the problems. Okay, now I have I have something that occurs in parentheses. I have 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is just 1. Then I had that exponent, second power, times 2. Now I have to evaluate the exponent. Okay, 1 to the second power is just 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay. When I look right across at my next one, once again I have something occurring in parentheses. 10 plus 5 minus 8. I'll have to do that first. I'll have to do this first. 10 plus 5 is 15. Minus 8 is 7. So this is 7 times 5. And then 7 times 5 is 35. Okay? Move it just a little bit more. Now here I have in parentheses 5 over 5, a fraction 5 over 5, 5 divided by 5. We all know that that's just 1. Then you have the exponent 2. So that's 1 to the second power times 7. 1 to the second power is just 1 times 1, which is 1, times 7. 1 times 7 gives me 7. That's my final answer. And then this last one, once again, I have set of parentheses. So I have to evaluate that first. So I'll put my 3, bring down the 3. 10 plus 1 is 11, plus 9 is 20. Let me make this look a little bit better. So this becomes 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60. And that's my final answer. I hope this video has been of some use to you. If it has, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just look for Math Academy Online on YouTube, or check us out on the web at www.mathacademyonline.com.